Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Derek and this is the guidebook, and today I have a huge update on the truck camper build for you guys. If you've watched our previous truck camper build videos, then you know over the last few years I've been tweaking and changing this build and trying to get it dialed in to be exactly what I think is the perfect minimalist truck camper build for us, and I think I've finally figured it out. And in those previous videos I mentioned that once I figured out a setup that I really liked, I was going to make it out of metal, and this past weekend that's exactly what I did. I didn't film the actual build process making this out of metal because working with metal just takes so much longer for me, and it would have taken me an extra 2 or 3 days if I was trying to film the whole process, and I just don't have time for that. And since this build is very similar to what I had built before, you don't really need to see my process of figuring everything out because it was all already figured out in the previous videos. I'm just taking what I already had and making it out of metal. So in this video, I'm just going to kind of show you what I did and show what it all looks like. Here we have the overview of the build, and this is when I have nothing in the truck. This is just how this is going to sit day to day when we're not going on camping trips. First, here at the end, you can see our mounting plates for our cooking and food bins that we have on the end. And when these were made out of wood, they would kind of move around a little bit. Now out of metal, these things are solid. They're not going anywhere. It shakes the whole truck bed. Then we have our shelves that are now actually attached to these brackets. So that makes the shelves even more solid as well. And before, our shelf just had a little lip, and then there was a cargo net here that connected up. We still have those cargo nets, so we might still use them sometimes, but I found that they were useful sometimes, they got in the way other times, so for right now I'm just going to use them when we feel like we need them and keep them out the rest of the time. As for the shelves themselves, we use them all the time, so we wanted to make sure we were incorporating them in the build made out of metal. The one thing we did with the shelves for this build is I actually made them a little bit deeper. They come out a little bit farther, and then I made this lip taller. So before we just had a tiny little lip on here. Now with this higher end, we can put things in here. We won't really have to worry about the cargo net to hold things onto the shelves. And we have them on both sides. They're attached to this plate, so they're nice and sturdy here. And then I have a turnbuckle back here that's kind of locking them into place in the back. Next, we have our wheel well covers / cubbies that we had in the original build. And when I had first built these, I had them coming all the way to the end. And later on, we realized that we didn't really need that much cubby space, and we wanted more leg room while we were sleeping, since our dog Tucker sleeps right here in the middle of our feet. And we didn't really miss the extra cubby space here at all, and we really liked having a lot more leg room, so we wanted to make sure we kept the shorter cubbies in the final metal build. One thing you will notice about these new cubbies is there's the flat tabletop part here, and then there's a much bigger opening for us to store things down in these. And I did this on both sides. Originally, these wheel well covers / cubbies just had small cubby holes, with most of it being a top to set things on top. We found that we weren't using the cubbies as much, and when we put something in there, it would just live in there and we would never use it. So opening up these tops has actually made it so we use these a ton more, and they're a lot more useful for us too, because we can put bigger things in there and we can get things in and out much easier. If you've watched our previous truck camper build videos, then you already know about all these things I just explained. I just wanted to go over them once, just since I did make some slight changes, and in case you haven't watched our previous videos. The other thing that hasn't changed since the most recent truck camper build video is our lights up here. We have one on each side with the switches on the end, so we can easily sit up in bed, turn on our light. We also have one on the end here so we can light up the tailgate when we're cooking. Now for the biggest change of the build, and something I'm really excited for, is these L tracks that are on either side. And if you've watched our previous videos, you'll know that this is where the cargo net used to connect up to. There are bolts that come through the top of the camper shell that hold the tracks for a roof rack on top. And before, I had just attached the cargo nets to those bolts using some small nuts and washers. Now we're using this L track, and I've connected it the same way. I just took the bolts off, drilled new holes in the L track, put it up here, and then put the bolts that come with the camper shell right back up in there. And these things are really cool because these tie downs that I have here, and I have 4 on either side, you can push up on this, pull them out, and you can put them wherever you want and lock them in. So if we need more back over this way, put it over here, locked in. If we need them, down closer to the end, put them in here, locked in. And these can actually support quite a bit of weight. And with these and the tie downs lower down, maybe if we had something taller up on the side, like maybe if I have my bike in here and I really want to secure it, I could lock it down up top and below. And that's just going to offer us a lot of versatility to tie things down in here, depending on the types of roads we're going down or the types of trips we're doing. Also, something we can do now with these is we could take our backpacks, take a carabiner, lock them in here, and then just take a bungee on this expanded sheet here and bungee it in and have our backpack locked in place so it's kind of out of the way up high and it's not going to swing around and do anything. We don't have to go put it up in the cab when we're going to sleep. I wanted to show this to you guys empty first so you could really just see all the different components of it and see what it looks like when there's no other camping gear in here, just to give you a better idea of the setup. But now I'm going to put our gear in here so you can kind of see what it looks like all set up. So first we're going to have the things that are generally going to stay in the truck and aren't going to come out in between trips. We have our little camp chairs, camp table, teepee, little emergency blanket, my pee bottle, a bag with some bungee cords and rope and things like that. Then we have this little brush we use to clean dirt out of the back of the truck, a little trowel in case we need to dig a cat hole or something like that. And then we have Tucker's lead and more teepee. Now we have everything in here, minus our sleeping bags, day packs, and extra clothes. And I just wanted to show this in case you haven't watched any of our previous videos and don't know what it looks like when it's all packed up, or if you have watched our previous videos and just kind of wanted to see what it looks like packed up with the slight changes and now that it's all made out of metal. Now that I'm in here, you can kind of get an idea of how much space we have as well as headroom. I really wanted to keep this build minimal because there are 2 of us living in here with a full-size dog. So we need as much space as we can get. That's why I wanted to keep everything on the sides and as minimal as I could. I also wanted to keep this minimal and make everything easy to remove so we still have use of our truck bed when we're not camping. I've been building, testing, and modifying this setup for almost 2 years now, so I'm so happy to have finally created what I believe to be the perfect setup for us, and I'm so excited to test it out this summer. I'm sorry for not making a full in-depth build video of this process, making this out of steel, but I just thought that it'd be a little redundant since you've kind of already seen me build this setup, pretty much exactly what it is now, but out of wood before. So I thought it'd be kind of redundant to just show that whole process again. And making this all out of steel took me so long, and if I tried to film it, it probably would have taken me 3 times longer, and I just did not have the time for that. I really just wanted to get this build done before our summer camping season so we would have it and we'd be able to use it all summer. So I'm sorry for not filming the whole process, but it just would have been impossible. That being said, I probably will end up making more modifications to this build along the way, and I will keep documenting it as I make modifications. I hope these videos have been helpful and have given you some ideas for your own truck camper build. And if you like videos like this, and if you just want to see us camping out of this truck camper build or going on other different adventures in Colorado, then subscribe to the channel. And remember, always leave it better than you found it. Thanks for watching.